take you to one example. Okay, this is in the book of 2 Kings. 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse 8 onwards. Some of you may already be aware of this story, but let me, just explain to you, all those who are hearing it for the first time. It says, now the king of Syria was making war against Israel, and he consulted with his servants, saying, my camp will be in such and such place. So what is happening? The people of Israel is God's people, okay? And now there is another place, another country, Syria. And the king of Syria is planning to fight God's people. He is planning because he's planning for a war. His agenda is to bring the Israeli king down. And so now what is he doing? He's making a blueprint. And he's saying, my camp will be in such a such place. And the man of God sent to the king of Israel, saying, beware that you do not pass this place, for the Syrians are coming down there. Then the king of Israel sent someone to the place of which the man of God had told him. Thus he warned him, and he was watchful there not just once or twice. So the king of Syria is planning to make a war. And what has he done? He's made a blueprint. So when you want to attack a king, you just don't go and attack, right? So he didn't just start the war. It takes a lot of time to mobilize troops, especially when you look at, in those days. Nowadays everything is modern, and we have good roads and things can move fast. There's technology, there is good engineered roads, but in those times there were mountains and valleys. And now when this king is planning a war against Israel, he is gathering all the troops, he's mobilizing the troops. And can you imagine how much time it takes to bring all of them together? Because when all your soldiers are coming in one place, you have to make sure all your supplies are there in that place. You have to make sure that your soldiers are fed. So, there are sacks of food being transported. Then there is weaponry being transported. Everything. So the king has made a blueprint, and he said, I'm going to attack the king of Israel. And this is the place where we are going to mobilize our troops. This is the place where we all gather, and then we will launch an attack. Okay? I'm laughing because the Bible makes me laugh. My God has a great sense of humor. So after he does everything, and he exactly according to the blueprint, okay, he does it, there is a man of God called Elisha. He goes and tells the king of Israel, hey, listen, don't go from that side, because there is an enemy who is camped there and they are waiting to attack you. So when he does that, so obviously, the plan of the enemy is foiled. Now, like in Hindi, we say, plan chaupat. And if you read the verse, it says, thus he warned him, and he was watchful there not just once or twice. So the man of God warned the king, and he was watchful not once or twice. Okay? In Amplified Version, it says, this happened repeatedly, not just once. So can you imagine, every time this enemy king is mobilizing his troops, and he's done everything. He has consulted his servants. He has done his best research. according to the world. He has done the best research. He has studied the king of Israel, what time he gets up, what is his strength, what is his weakness. Everything he has studied. And he camped at a particular place according to the blueprint. And what does God do? He hands over his blueprint to Elisha. God is so good. This is what God does. For when you begin to walk with God, now begin is a wrong word. I'm sure you must have already begun. When you are consistent in your walk with God, see the fun. The enemy's blueprints are given to you. So the blueprint is made by king of Syria, and God just takes it and takes a printout and gives it to Elisha. And Elisha knows everything. And this is what I wrote, okay? When a man walks with God, he starts even downloading the enemy's blueprints. In current times, we may not be facing battles and wars like in those times, but we know that we have an enemy. That enemy is all the time plotting to knock you down in different ways. He's planning that I'm going to bring this sickness in this girl's life. He's planning that he's studying your weaknesses. Okay, I don't know whether you are studying your areas of weaknesses, which you should, which I should. Okay, when I preach to you, I'm preaching to myself. But the enemy, he's consistent in studying your weaknesses. He knows, okay, this is the touch point of this girl. That if I can make somebody talk about this point, if I can make somebody talk about her looks, then she goes in her shell and she is broken. The enemy is scheming. He's making blueprints. If I know that this is the weakness of Bhakti is struggling in this area, then he's planning troops, and he makes sure that what Bhakti doesn't like, somebody will come and talk about it. And then what happens? Bhakti is hurt. She is wounded. But there is a way. When you fellowship with this God, that God begins to give you the enemy's blueprint. I'm telling you, God wants to give you blueprints. Okay? And He wants to give you precise blueprints. Exact, to the T, to the crossing of the T and the dot on the I. Exact blueprints. Such blueprints that will cause confusion in the enemy camp. This is what happened. The king of Syria, he was mad because he lost so much of energy, so much of money, so much of resources. His peace was gone. Saying, what is happening? Every time I'm failing. Who is the one who has access to my blueprint? That's only a child of God.